So basically, I'm going to explain the whole program and then we'll jump into what it actually means. Because if I just jump into what it means, you're going to go, what, huh? Shir, do you want to explain this?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so the goal of the program is that very often we get students who, memorize certain responses to certain questions. Very typically, if they see a picture of an animal, they'll just label the animal. If they see a picture of an item, they'll just label the item. It builds into having difficulty with intraverbals, which we see very often as kids just kind of memorizing responses to intraverbals. And what you really need to do when you're answering an intraverbal question is you have to kind of picture, like if I told you, describe an apple, you kind of picture an apple in your head and you can say, well, it's red or it could be green, and you eat it. But if you're not able to kind of pull up that image of the apple, then you're just kind of guessing. Like imagine answering a question without being able to visualize what it is that you're talking about. And I think this is what we do very often when we build up kids to an intraverbal level without really solidifying the tacting and the answering questions and the receptive level. So this was her big thing, is that we need to teach kids at the tacting level to intersperse, mix and vary, to really comprehend what it is that we're asking of them and not just memorize the answer to the question. Because even if you teach a student 100 tacts, they could very easily memorize 100 tacts, but you could teach a kid 10 and it could be meaningful. This is very similar to like pivotal response, peak, like all of this stuff is really looking at that pivotal response versus the cumulative response. And she talks a lot about this. It's not just about collecting responses. It's about making those responses meaningful. So she talks about building in so the steps that she includes is, there's this autoclitic frame that she talks about. And when you establish tacting with an autoclitic frame, then you're forcing them to listen to the question. So if I said to you, what is it? And you repeat, it's a, then that it's a acts as a prompt to remind me I need to think of a noun. And then if I could teach a student to say, if I say, what color is it? And they need to include the frame color, it prompts their response to pull up colors. So it's a bit of a, comprehension builder. I will say some students still memorize that, but it is a good way to teach kids to incorporate, to listen to the question. Because we see so often kids who are just like, you show them a picture of a cow and you say, what color is it? And they say like, it's a cow, or just cow. So that's where the frame comes in. It's really to prompt the right response and to pull up the right repertoire of what it is. So what she talks about is first you need to just teach the frame. You just need to prime echoically for the student to learn to say, it's a cow, it's a horse, it's a sheep, like no visual, no nothing. They're just learning that echoic, or color blue, color yellow, color red, whatever that is. And then you start introducing it with a question. So you show them a picture and you say, what is it? And they have to include the frame and say, it's a ball, it's a shoe. And then you introduce a second frame. So if the first frame was, what is it? The second frame could be, what color? And so
same stimuli.
What?
Same stimuli. Sorry, Shira.
Yeah, same stimuli, and there's not a specific set of targets. You're kind of randomly asking about, what color is it? What color? And they say color blue, color red, color yellow. And then in the third step, sorry, is that?
So step B was with the picture. Then you would say, what is it? And then step C would be with the same pictures. You can say what color.
Yeah, and then in D, that fourth step, here's the randomly rotating the first two tacting frames. So you're just showing them that same like bunch of pictures, but you're rotating between very randomly, what is it? What color? What color? What is it? What is it? And like in a very random way, so that they're learning to like listen to the question and not just learning to, say red when they see the red ball. And so the way she developed the process is first with nouns and colors, and then with animal names and animal sounds, then people and verbs, eventually building up to being able to like answer, WH questions about a picture. So you could see a picture of a woman reading a book, and you could ask multiple WH questions, and then being able to pull up those frames. Say, if you say like, what is she doing? The frame would be, oh, she is reading. And where is she? Pull up the frame for location, and it's in, the bedroom. So that's kind of the purpose of the program. And then in terms of convergent and divergent, Jane, I'll let you take over for that.
Okay, so the convergent and divergent here, these are literally cut and paste from her PowerPoints from the presentation we were at. And so is this, because, you know, you might as well make it a little bit more confusing, right?
Okay.
So in terms of convergent and divergent, basically what she's talking about is that, you know, if you've got some stimuli, you've got a few different variables. A kiddo who's convergent will converge all their ideas and come up with one response. So for instance, you hold up a picture of a cow and you say what color, they're going to say cow. You say what does, you know, what sound, which is your variable 2, cow. 3, you know, what sound, cow. Whereas divergent multiple control would be that they're able to answer a whole bunch of things. So one picture is able to cue a whole bunch of different responses. So one picture would be able to cue, it's a cow, it's, you know, color brown, says moo, etc. So that's really all that means. Does that make a bit more sense now?